Safety matters tonight. The Burlington School Board heard recommendations tonight on the future of school resource officers. Removing them from city schools has been a point of discussion lately. Just hours ago, the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee weighed in. Local 22's Devin Bates reports.
The committee is recommending that school resource officers be unarmed and in plain clothes by this fall. This over concerns that having armed officers in school could be traumatic for students of color.
As we in Burlington, Vermont move forward, we have to ask ourselves, what are the impacts that we have on holding students back? What are the things that we do to keep Black and brown students down? So we have to really change the way that we move forward.
If the Burlington School Board adopts the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee's recommendations, a task force would also be created to examine the role of school resource officers and make further recommendations. Meanwhile, Burlington's interim police chief, John MURAD, dove into the details of the SRO position and made a case for keeping it.
A great critique of the SRO program as a national phenomenon is that it contributes to a school-to-prison pipeline. And I believe strongly that the program here has in fact interrupted that pipeline, such as it existed.
MURAD pointed out that arrests made by school resource officers have been on the decline since 2015, when current SRO guidelines went into effect.
I think that the data that I've presented really does present a vision of how that data moves in the right direction, how this program has been efficacious, and how it's something that we should not be throwing out because in other places it doesn't achieve these same kinds of results.
Burlington's current school resource officer said the large majority of his work doesn't involve policing, but he also understands the concerns about having armed officers in schools.
Arrests are hard, and there is a larger discussion to be had about what do cops in schools look like. And there are districts that do use their SRO as forced truancy, and they do use them, that in ways that marginalize kids, that do criminalize very minor conduct. But that's something that Sparks worked very hard with in collaboration with the PD and the district in 2015 to make sure we don't do in Burlington.
A community survey by the school board found the majority of respondents are not in favor of having armed officers in Burlington schools. This discussion is expected to continue later this week ahead of next week's city budget vote. In Burlington, Devin Bates, Local 22 News.